All right, we are on Workbook Lesson 27 of A Course in Miracles, and this lesson is Above All Else, I Want to See. Above all else, I want to see. Today's idea expresses something stronger than mere determination. It gives vision priority among your desires. You may feel hesitant about using the idea on the grounds that you are not sure you really mean it. This does not matter. The purpose of today's exercises is to bring the time when the idea will be wholly true a little nearer. There may be a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation involved, add, vision has no cost to anyone. If fear of loss still persists, add further, it can only bless. The idea for today needs many repetitions for maximum benefit. It should be used at least every half hour and more if possible. You might try for every 15 or 20 minutes. It is recommended that you set a definite time interval for using the idea when you wake or shortly afterwards and attempt to adhere to it throughout the day. It will not be difficult to do this, even if you are engaged in conversation or otherwise occupied at the time. You can still repeat one short sentence to yourself without disturbing anything. The real question is, how often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true? Answer one of these questions, and you have answered the other. You will probably miss several applications and perhaps quite a number. Do not be disturbed by this, but do try to keep on your schedule from then on. If only once during the day you feel that you were perfectly sincere while you were repeating today's idea, you can be sure that you have saved yourself many years of effort. All right. I was once a part of a Hindu organization. It's called Dhyan Yoga Centers. And we were given a mala, which is like a rosary. And we were given a mantra to use. And I remember one of the teachers saying, if you only had, there's 108 repetitions when you go around the mala with the beads. And you say the mantra like, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And the teacher said, if you only had one time when you did it sincerely, it would be good. Because most of the time it becomes mindless, right? We just say it, we don't really mean it. So I just wanted to preface this by saying that, and let's read paragraph by paragraph. Today's idea expresses something stronger than mere determination. Above all else, I want to see. It gives vision priority among your desires. You may feel hesitant. And why does it give vision priority among your desires? Because it says above all else. Above all else. That this is the most important thing to me. Not only do I want to see, but I want to see above anything else in my life, I want to see. You may feel hesitant about using the idea on the grounds that you are not sure you really mean it, right? You're not, it's like Jesus is giving you this thing to say, but your heart is not completely in it because you're like, is that really true that I want to see? And what do I want to see? What is it that I want to see? This does not matter. The purpose of today's exercise is to bring the time when the idea will be wholly true a little nearer. So right now it may not be true. But as you practice the course and you see the benefits of the course, you see the fruits of the course, you will warm up to this idea. You're going to warm up to the idea that vision is your top priority, that seeing the truth is all you really want, and all else will follow from that. It's like Jesus in the Gospels, right? Seek first the kingdom of heaven, or seek the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added to you. And that's, Jesus doesn't say that here, but I think that's what is being said, is that, get your house in order. and when you get your house in order, then everything else is going to fall into place. Paragraph 2. There may be a great temptation, not just a temptation, but a great temptation to believe that some sort of sacrifice is being asked of you when you say you want to see above all else. If you become uneasy about the lack of reservation involved, add, vision has no cost to anyone. If fear of loss still persists, add further, it can only bless. So, above all else I want to see, you may think, well, something is going to be lost by my gaining vision, by my seeing. Something has to be sacrificed in my life. And Jesus is trying to tell us, no sacrifice is needed. God does not, if you look at the history of religion, sacrifices to the gods are made in all the ancient religions, right? And even to this day, sacrifice is a big part of religion. In this path, when it comes to knowing the truth, nothing is sacrificed. Or let's put it this way: yes, the ego is sacrificed, but the ego is nothing. Therefore, nothing is sacrificed. Now, if you believe that your ego is something, then it is a sacrifice. But Jesus is wanting to tell you that no, that the ego is nothing. You sacrifice nothing. And part of the problem here is that we are so conditioned and so allied with the ego that we think there's a sacrifice in saying this, and we can't trust what Jesus is saying. Paragraph 3, the idea for today needs many repetitions for maximum benefit. I think this is the first time that Jesus is saying this in the workbook, is that you actually have to say this now throughout the day. It should be used at least every half hour, and more if possible. You might try for every 15 or 20 minutes. But Jesus might even say more than that is even better. It is recommended that you set a definite time interval for using the idea when you wake or shortly afterwards, and attempt to adhere to it throughout the day. It will not be difficult to do this, even if you are engaged in conversation or otherwise occupied at the time. You can still repeat one short sentence to yourself without disturbing anything. Now, does Jesus mean repeat it mentally or repeat it out loud? Like if you're in a conversation with someone and all of a sudden you say, above all else I want to see, just muttering it under your breath. Or is it just you're in a conversation with someone and you just think, in your mind, above all else I want to see. The point is, it doesn't matter. The point is that you make an effort to say this throughout the day. Now, I think what you will find is that you will forget. Some people try to, put like a timer on their phone or on their watch to remind them, but I don't think, Jesus doesn't necessarily say to do that. Or maybe he does. Maybe he is saying, he doesn't say either way, actually. But I think part of the lesson here is that you will forget, and you will notice that you either do it mindlessly, you say above all else I want to see, it becomes a mindless mantra, or you forget completely to say it. And the point is that you don't want to see above all else. You've put everything else ahead of it, basically, in your life. You're caught up in the world. You're caught up in worldly activities. You have 1,000 projects that you're working on, and finding God is just one of those projects. A Course in Miracles is just one of your hobbies, one of your projects, until it becomes the most important thing. And that's where this is headed. The real question is, how often will you remember? How much do you want today's idea to be true? Answer one of these questions and you have answered the other. You will probably miss several applications and perhaps quite a number. Do not be disturbed by this, but do try to keep on your schedule from then on. If only once during the day you feel that you were perfectly sincere while you were repeating today's idea, you can be sure that you have saved yourself many years of effort. So if 3 a.m, you say with sincerity, with all of your heart, above all else, I want to see. You've saved yourself many years because you have put it out to the universe. It's like when Bill and Helen agreed to do this work and bring the Course to the world. They didn't know it at the time that they were doing it, but they said, there's got to be another way. And Helen said to Bill, you're right, and I want to help you find this other way. We're going to find this way together. That's the same idea. Is you say to the universe, you say to God, you say to to whoever you're saying it to, you say, above all else, to your higher self, to the Holy Spirit within you, above all else, I want to see. And that is the most important, and I know that is the most important thing, is to find God, to return home again. That is the most important thing. And you may not feel that way quite yet, but you will. And you may miss, like Jesus says, you may miss applications. You may not do it sincerely, but that's okay. That's all part of it. That's all part of this. But you will get to the point when this becomes a constant. Your mind is constantly established in that place of everything becomes part of that commitment. Above all else, I want to see. Everything in your life follows that commitment. It's not that the commitment follows everything else in your life. It is that the priority is, above all else, I want to see. Everything else will follow. Thank you so much for listening. This is lesson 27. We're on to 28 tomorrow. Above all else, I want to see things differently. And we'll continue. And I will be reading here again today from the psychotherapy supplement if you're interested in that. We're getting through to the end. It's a fascinating supplement, actually. It's really something. It's a thing of majesty in itself, worth really reading and trying to understand. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.